safer world is possible, and together we can and will make it happen. Thank you.
When you show up in community, you find that group that makes you feel like home, but oftentimes you also find yourself again.
Who launched an attack on the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge and their children. No, he's the king now, isn't he? Oh, I've spoilt it. Because it was the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, you see. It was Harry and Meghan who were under attack from a couple of neo-Nazis who, they attacked their son. They attacked Archie, 38-year-old and a 34-year-old. Both faced jail after being found guilty of encouraging acts of terrorism on Friday, following a trial at Kingston Crown Court. One of them described Archie as an abomination that should be put down in the podcast which the pair used to voice their hatred of mixed-race marriages. Now, it's received some coverage. I found some coverage on Sky News. I couldn't find much anywhere else. I just thought I'd mention it to you and leave you wondering why that might be. Why your, favourite chroniclers of Harry and Meghan's lives have elected to leave this chapter out of their usually constant wall-to-wall coverage. It's a grim story. Harry, they said, should be prosecuted and judicially killed for treason. I don't normally mock the appearances of people, but I think when it's people who believe in a master race, you're allowed to. It's worth looking these characters up and wondering why people who believe in the master race always look like them. I won't go into too much detail except to say... It's incredible, isn't it? If I looked in the mirror and saw that, I think I would refuse forever to believe in the possible existence of any master race anywhere in history. But these two characters looked in the mirror, saw what they saw, and decided that they were somehow superior. Biologically superior? I don't know, to Harry and Meghan's children. They also endorsed the murder of the assassination of the Labour MP Jo Cox in 2016. You remember that occurred shortly after Nigel Farage unveiled his poster with profound echoes of Nazi propaganda. Vile remarks about the Manchester Arena bombing, homophobic, racist, anti-Semitic, Islamophobic, misogynistic opinions, even encouraging their listeners to commit violence, uploading videos to all sorts. I mean, utterly grim conduct.
Hello, Squaddies. A warm welcome to Sussexful. This is the space where we stand with Harry and Meghan, Archie and Lilibet. I am your host, Emma. I love and support them because they show courage, kindness, and strength. Through Sussexful, I share positivity, truth, and inspiration from their journey. Here, we celebrate their work, their voices, and their impact on the world. Together, we push back against negativity by spreading facts and love. Stay tuned, like, comment, and subscribe. Let the countdown begin. Media bias and the Sussex family. A tale of selective reporting. The mainstream media's narrative surrounding Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, and their children consistently reveals a troubling pattern of selective storytelling. Rather than addressing the genuine threats and systemic abuse faced by the couple, particularly the racist and inflammatory attacks targeting their family, many outlets choose to paint Harry and Meghan as provocateurs, twisting their experiences into sensationalist headlines. The calculated omission of substantive discussions about the real challenges they encounter demonstrates a deliberate strategy to villainize the couple, shifting focus away from the very real issues of harassment and discriminatory treatment they've endured. By framing the Sussexes as perpetual troublemakers, instead of victims of relentless media scrutiny and personal attacks, these outlets not only misrepresent their story, but also contribute to a broader culture of marginalization and dismissal. The media's calculated deflection, silencing victims and spinning narratives. The systematic avoidance of addressing targeted abuse against Harry, Meghan, and their children represents a calculated media strategy designed to shift blame and public perception. Rather than confronting the deeply troubling reality of extremist harassment targeting the couple and their young family, mainstream media outlets consistently reframe the narrative to portray Harry and Meghan as the primary instigators of conflict. This deliberate misdirection serves to minimize the genuine threats and emotional trauma they experience, effectively silencing victims while protecting systemic mechanisms of media manipulation and prejudice. Media bias. Unmasked. The royal family coverage conundrum. James O'Brien's razor-sharp analysis cuts through the media's deliberately obtuse narrative like a surgical instrument, exposing the systematic manipulation surrounding Harry and Meghan's public portrayal. With his trademark precision, he highlights the grotesque irony of mainstream outlets vilifying the couple while conveniently sidestepping the genuine abuse they've endured from extremist elements. The banjo moment, that unexpected, brilliantly sardonic observation that simultaneously makes you laugh and grimace, lands perfectly, revealing how narratives are constructed to distract and deflect from uncomfortable truths, turning the victims into supposed perpetrators with a sleight of rhetorical hand. Media bias and the Sussex family. Sometimes you just need a voice of reason. James O'Brien's podcast, you know. It really stands out as a refreshing counterpoint to the relentless media narrative surrounding Harry and Meghan. He offers a nuanced perspective that just cuts right through all the sensationalism. His commentary, honestly, provides a much-needed platform of support, highlighting the couple's struggles with media manipulation and the systematic targeting they've endured. With his characteristic blend of wit and insight, O'Brien unpacks the complex dynamics at play, drawing attention to the ways in which the couple has been unfairly portrayed. The podcast becomes more than just commentary. It's a critical examination of media bias, revealing those deeper systemic issues that continue to plague Harry, Meghan, and their children in the public eye. The royal children under siege, silence, and suffering. In the shadowy margins of media narratives, Archie and Lilibet remain vulnerable targets, their innocence eclipsed by a relentless barrage of extremist vitriol that mainstream outlets conspicuously ignore. While pundits and tabloids gleefully dissect their parents' every move, these young children endure a sinister undercurrent of targeted abuse, a systematic harassment that goes unreported and unaddressed, revealing a deeply troubling media landscape that's, well, more invested in sensationalism than in protecting the most vulnerable members of the Sussex family. Media manipulation, deflecting from systemic abuse. The media's narrative machinery, really, it operates with surgical precision, systematically redirecting public attention away from the genuine menace of extremist harassment targeting the Sussex family. By consistently framing Harry and Meghan as provocateurs or disruptive figures, mainstream outlets deliberately obscure the deeply troubling pattern of racist and xenophobic abuse directed at them and their children. This calculated misdirection serves a dual purpose. It sensationalizes the couple's personal struggles while simultaneously absolving the systemic mechanisms that enable and perpetuate such targeted harassment, effectively transforming victims into perceived aggressors in the court of public opinion. Media silence and the erosion of truth. It's, really something we need to look at closely. Reporting on the challenges faced by Harry, Meghan, and their children isn't just a journalistic duty, but honestly, a critical responsibility that exposes the systemic biases plaguing contemporary media narratives. By consistently sidestepping the genuine threats and abuse directed at this family, mainstream media outlets have, well, abdicated their fundamental role of objective reporting, instead choosing to perpetuate harmful narratives that cast the couple as instigators rather than victims. This calculated misdirection not only undermines the serious nature of the extremist harassment they endure, but also, tacitly validates the very behavior that puts vulnerable individuals at risk. It reveals a deeply troubling pattern of media complicity that prioritizes sensationalism over truth and human dignity. Media bias and the protection of royal children is, I think, a topic that can't be ignored. In the face of relentless media scrutiny, the paramount concern must be the safety and emotional well-being of young Archie and Lilibet, who find themselves undeservedly thrust into a maelstrom of public speculation and potential harm. The current media landscape really demands a more responsible and empathetic approach, one that prioritizes the children's innocence and right to privacy over sensationalist narratives that, sadly, serve only to escalate tensions and expose vulnerable individuals to potential risks. Journalists and media outlets have a moral obligation to shield these children from the toxic discourse that has repeatedly targeted their parents, recognizing that responsible reporting should never come at the expense of a child's fundamental right to safety and psychological security. Media bias and the power of influential voices. It's, so important in today's world. In the landscape of contemporary media discourse, voices like James O'Brien's emerge as critical conduits for exposing systemic bias and challenging narrative manipulation. O'Brien's platform has become a powerful instrument for raising awareness about the strategic misrepresentation of public figures, particularly in the case of Harry and Meghan, where media outlets consistently deflect attention from genuine issues of harassment and abuse by reframing the narrative to cast the couple as the fundamental problem. By leveraging his radio show and podcast, O'Brien cuts through the sensationalist rhetoric, highlighting the dangerous mechanisms of media distortion that often shield perpetrators while vilifying those who speak out against systemic mistreatment. In doing so, he really demonstrates how prominent voices can effectively challenge and deconstruct harmful narrative frameworks. Media bias and the royal family. It's honestly a critical examination that can't be overlooked. The contemporary media landscape reveals a troubling pattern of systemic bias, particularly in its coverage of Harry and Meghan, where sensationalism and narrative manipulation consistently overshadow genuine journalistic integrity. Instead of investigating the real threats and abuse the couple faces, mainstream outlets persistently frame them as instigators of controversy, deflecting attention from the root issues of racism, harassment, and media-driven persecution. This approach not only demonstrates a profound ethical failure, but also, exposes a deeper, more insidious tendency to prioritize clickbait and divisive storytelling over compassionate, responsible reporting that could meaningfully address systemic inequities and protect vulnerable individuals from targeted harassment.